So this is a standard table which is holding sales document header date. And if you see here, there are some fields. And look at the key field, VBLN is there, which is a store sales document number. And let me open one more session. See, look at the table, VBAP, sales document item data. So VBAK, sales document header data, and VBAP, sales document item data. Look at the key field here, VBLN, which stores the sales document. And there is one more key field, Postner, which holds the item data. And did you see? Two are the common fields in the truth tables. Like in VBAP, we have the sales document field, like same field name and data element. See the field name? VBLN. Data element is VBLN VA. If I go to VBAC, see, VBLN VA. So same field is there. And the description was item data, and here header data is there. Similar way, we have some other tables like EKKO, purchasing document header. So EKKO table which holds purchasing document header. And if you look at the fields, EBLN, which holds a purchasing document number, this is a key field in the header table. And we do have one more table, EKPO. So this is purchasing document item. And if you see the key fields, EBLN, purchasing document number. Along with that, here there is one more key field, EBLP, which stores the item number of purchasing document. So this is purchasing document item table. EKKO is purchasing document header table. In both tables, there is a common field. We have seen in VBAK, VBAP, similar way in EKKO and EKPO. Let's see one more table. LIKP. So this is sales document delivery header data. And here the key field is VBLN, which is delivery. And here if you see data element is different, VBLN VL. So this is for delivery and it holds header data, delivery header data. And we do have one more table, LIPS. If you see this holds the item data, delivery item data. And look at the key field, VBLN, same data element which we have seen in the header table, same short description. Along with that, there is one more field which holds a delivery item. So if you take any standard table in SAP, it holds header table, header details or item details or header data, item data. So in SAP, header and item data are used to store the structure for business. It can be sales order or purchase order or delivery. So these all will be stored in the form of header and item. The difference is header table is nothing but a table which contains general information like this is item one, right? Let me open the header one. So header table which holds a general information or summary of the data. So that can be stored in the header table. Meaning, uh, like this is a table which holds the delivery header data. So here, what is the delivery number, when it is created and created by the person, what is the person name, and which type of delivery it is going to be created. So the summary details will be stored in the header data. But for this delivery, how many items are going to be delivered, which address it is going to be delivered. So, what are the materials are going to be delivered? Those details, individual details will be stored in the item table. So header table, which holds the general information about a business or document, business document or requirement. So it holds high level data. The header table which holds high level data, or we can say summary of the business. But item table stores detailed of each entry in the header table. Meaning, if I go to table entries, mm, so here this is the delivery number, like 800. These numbers are there, right? So second column. So these are the delivery details. And let me open one more table. Okay, IPS already opened. Let me execute. And I'll take only one document, like only one delivery number I'll take. So I'll copy one delivery number. So if you see 0, 1, 2, 3, there is no duplication of data in the VBLN, because we have whenever they have created this delivery table, VBLN, they made it as a key field. So it doesn't accept any duplicate data. If you see this VBLN, it gives only unique number. So I have taken one number, and I'll go to the item table. Here I'll give the number, like delivery number. I'll execute it. So if you see, this is a different table. If you see the top, LIPS is there. But this delivery number I have chosen from LIKP. If you see the title bar, this table, this 8 and 0, 0 zeros 2. So this Veblen value I have chosen from LIKP table. And same number I have given in LIPS table. So it is giving what is the delivery number. Postner is nothing but item. So how many items are created? Only one item is created. And the person who has created, that person name, creation date, time, which material they have created for this delivery, which material is going to be delivered, that delivery number. So those detailed information will be stored in the item table. But if I see in the header table, it gives directly, like it won't give how many items are going to be delivered for this delivery number. It gives only which is the delivery number, who has created, time, and remaining details. Like in this table, what do we have remaining details? Like which shipping point it is going to be deleted, delivery, sales organization. So those high level data will be stored in header table. But when it comes to item table, for each delivery number, how many items are going to be delivered? So that detailed information is going to be stored in item table. Not only for the delivery, even if you take sales details, sales also we have header table, item table, like VBAP and VBAP. So this is header table. If I go to table entries, so VBLN values are there. So it will be hold high level data. For this sales order, how many items are created, which material is created. So those information you cannot find in the header table. So that detailed information we will be getting in item table. So I'll go to item table. So to see the detailed information for the sales order, I have to go to item table. So item table is VBAP, and so I'll display all the entries. So it is asking, do you select fields? So whatever fields we have selected, those fields data will be displayed. Okay. Okay. Execute. And here you can see VBLN 2 for sales document 2. This is the item number and this is the material they have created. And 3, this is the item number, material. But if you see, 2 times 4 is written, 2 times 5 sales order number is written. But we already know it was given as a key field. Can you tell me what why it is repeatedly given sales order number like 4, 5, 6, and 15 here? Do you know the reason? In header table, you can see it has created only once, two created once, three created only once, four is created only once. But in item table, four has created twice. Any idea?
Maybe any extra item
So,
added in between.
yeah, because here, if I go back, there is one more key field item. So it acts as a combination of these two. So whenever we are going to create table entries, it will take combination of these two entries, meaning it will take unique combination of these two feeds data. Suppose if I go to table entries, so 4 is there for sales order number 4, it is having item number 10 and one more item number 20. It was not repeated 410 14 again. It is a unique combination. If you see 4 with 10 is there, 4 with 20 is there. So it will take composite key. As I mentioned, if you are giving combination of key fields, it will take unique data. If you are giving only one key field, it will take only one field unique data. Suppose if you are selecting two fields, it will take combination of two fields. So one sales order number or one purchasing order number can have multiple items. Best example is suppose whenever we are purchasing anything from the online site like Amazon or Flipkart, whatever it is, whenever we are buying, we can select multiple items at a time. Like we can buy multiple items at a time. You can buy phone, screen guard at a time for one sales order. Once we can select all the items, whatever we require, then we can place the order. Similar way, here also, we can have multiple items. So that information will be stored in the item table. But these header, like whatever the sales order number is there, so that we are taking from the header table. Like how would we know this is the sales order number? We have to create the item 10 or 20 or 30. How do we know? Because we have to create a relation between header table and item table. Like in SAP, maximum all the standard tables are created header and item table to store the business requirement. One is for header table is for high level data and item table which is used to store each entry from the header table. Meaning if sales order number this number is the right too. So it must be in the header table. If it is not exist in the header table, I cannot create any item. Because without sales order, how can we create an item? We cannot buy anything right without creating a sales order. So that is the reason we have to create a relation between header and item table to avoid the data consistency problem. Meaning, suppose mm, so sales order number is there one. So if sales order number is one, so for the sales order number, end user can buy multiple items, either one item or two items or three items, depending on the requirement. But suppose there is no sales order created for a customer, but uh, we are trying to create number of items for that particular sales order. So what will happen whenever sales order is generating? It will give a error because this data is not existing the high level. Without creating a sales order, how can we add the items? It is not possible. So we should not give the wrong entry in the tables. So that is the reason to avoid the data inconsistency problem, we have to create a relation between header table and item table. So that relation we call it as a primary and foreign key relationship. So whatever the data exists in the header table, only that particular data we need to create item details. Suppose here, what is the key field in the header table? Only that key field should be entered in the item table. Suppose here 1 to 3 is there. So I can create items for 1 to 3 sales order number. Here 4 is not there. So I cannot, suppose 4 is there, I can able to create 4 sales order number and how many items they require, I can able to create it. Suppose 4 is not existed. if I'm trying to create, it is meaningless because there is no sales order, but we are trying to create item. So this problem we should not raise. So that is a reason we need to create a relation between two tables. Suppose once I create the relation between two tables, if there is no sales order number is exist in the header table, even though if I'm trying to create item, then it will give a syntax error because I made the relation between two tables. Suppose if I don't give any relation between two tables, then this table will accept, item table will accept whatever I'm giving the entry. But without header information, we cannot put anything in the item table. So to ensure that we are creating the relationship, even though if you're trying to create any item details, it has to stop you. So to stop that, we need to create a relation. So, so this is our today's concept, primary foreign key relationship. So the relation between two or more tables for a table field validation is called primary and foreign key relationship. Table field validation is nothing but just now, as I mentioned, whatever the table entries are there in the header, that must be so only that entries should be created in the item table. Other than that, if you are creating, it should be stoppers. So that is nothing but field validation. So it will be going to check whatever the entry exists in the header table, only those entries will be accepted in the item table. So that input we call it as a field validation. So it means in a simple words we are checking the field value, whether the field value is exist in the header table or not. If it is existed, then we are good to create in the item table. Suppose if the field value is not exist in the header table, it will be stoppers. So we cannot able to create it. So um, to do that, we have to create a relation between tables that is called primary and foreign key relationship. But how do we create relation between two tables? Like we have suppose two tables are there, which is storing header table, header details. The other one is item details. So here, from which one onwards we have to give the relationship? So in this header, is it VBAP? So this is the item table. So whatever the sales order numbers are exist in the header table, only those sales order numbers we can able to create item. Meaning based on the header table, only we are creating item table. So it is nothing but item table is completely depending on the header table. Based on the header table data, only we are creating item table data. So header table is an independent table, item table is a dependent table because it is always depends on the header data. So this header table, we call it as a primary table or check table or parent table. So we have different terms. For header table, we always call it as a check table or parent table or primary table. The table which is going to be depend on this header data, that is nothing but dependent table. Item table is nothing but here dependent table. So that dependent table we call it as a dependent table or foreign key table or what we have child table. Let me write it down somewhere. I think here I have written, yeah. So header table is also called as a parent table, primary table or master table or check table. So four terms are there for header table. And item table, which is going to be dependent, that is called as a dependent table or foreign key table. So before we are creating a relation between header and item table, first thing we have to check, is there any common field between these two tables? Because we are validating based on the field value. We are validating, see here whatever the VBLN value is there in the header table, based on that value only we are going to create item data. So this is completely depending on this value only. If there is a same value, like here in header table, if one is there, that one should be created in the item table. Suppose in the header table 5 is there, only that record should be created in the item table. So we are validating based on the field value. If there is a common field, then uh, we can recognize it, or we can put the entry between two tables. If you see here, VBLN is there, and if I go to item table, here also VBLN is there. So whenever we are creating a relation between tables, the tables must have common field or common data element. Without common field, we cannot create a relationship. Always remember. If I go to this table fields, so this is VBAP. In this VBAP, see the key fields, sales document, VBLN, postnar is there. Look at the data element, VBLN VA, postnar VA is there. This is VBAP table. I'll go to VBAC. What are the key fields are there? VBLN. So VBLN is a key field. So in both table, VBLN is common, VBAP and VBAK. So with the common field only, we can make the field validation. Based on that value only, we can put the entries into item tables. So that is the reason whenever we are going to create primary and foreign key relationship, two tables must have a common field. So I'll go to my table, which I have created. So this is sales order header details. Here, sales order number is holding by this field. I'll open one more session. And so I have created one item table, and I told you to create one more table, right? Item table. So in this item table, so this is sales order number. And what is the field name and data element? It must be same. Field name, data element name must be same in both tables. Let me close this standard table. So this is header table which I have created. I'll check this one. So ZORDDA, here also ZORDDA. So both fields are common. So this item table and header table is having the same field. So first prerequisite we have reached. So then what we are going to do, select the common field which is same in both tables, and from here onwards, which is a dependent table. So from that table onwards, we have to create the relationship. Like we need to request the header table, which is a dependent table. From that table, we are going to create the relationship. Okay, so here, this is the item table, which is a dependent on the header table. And there is a common field, a sales order number. Suppose if you don't have the common field, you need to create the common field. So once you create the common field, then it must be primary key field. Always remember, whatever the common field is there in the both tables, from the item table or dependent table, that common field must be key field. Always remember. First prerequisite is both tables must have one common field, and that common field must be primary key field in the dependent table. Okay, so once it is done, you need to select the common field. Then uh, here there is a key symbol, right? Foreign key. Click on that. I'll go to change mode. So click on that, and here it is asking, see, create foreign key. So right now we are going to create foreign key. Here check table is there. So check table is nothing but independent table, or we can say master table or parent table. In our case, it is a header table. So choose a check table name from here. You can take F for help, or else you can give the table name. And here, this is my check table or my parent table. So select the table name, and once you give the table name, click on create proposal. So whenever we click on create proposal, it is going to be create a link between these two tables. So click on create proposal. See, whenever I click on create proposal, whatever the common fields are there, those are displaying here. And now here screen check is a check required. Like whenever we are doing a field validation, suppose there is a record which is not exist in the header table, but even though you are trying to create that record in the item table, then it should be stop us with the error message. Suppose if we want to do like that, here we need to click that check required so that it will be through a error message. And here semantic attributes like foreign key field type. So how it is the type is like is it non-key field or key field? Leave about this text table. We'll discuss later. Suppose if it is non-key field, we can choose this one. If it is a key field, we can choose this one. Let me choose this one. And cardinality. So cardinality is nothing but from header table, how many records are same to how many records are same in item table. So meaning, suppose in header table, we have one record. And for that one record, how many records are going to be saved in the item table? Like in header table, sales document one is there. In item table, how many sales documents are there with one? Two are there. And here sales document number. In the header table, I have two, only one record. In item table, three are there. And in the header table, with three, I have only one record. But if you see in the item table, two are there. Meaning more than one is there. So here in the header table, I have one. In item table, I can have multiple. For one sales document number, I can create two, three, four, five, depending on the requirement, I can able to create. Meaning it is not one to one. It is one to many. In header table, it is storing only one record, but in item table, it is storing multiple records for the same sales document number. So the relation is like one to many. So this one we have to specify here. Either it is one to one relationship or one to many relationship. See, entry if cardinality from here onwards I have chosen the F for help. And if you see one, entry in check field must be existed. So it is nothing but in header table it should be existed. Yes. In header table, all the records are there, right? So we can select one. At least it can be have one record. And here entry in check field can exist, meaning suppose it can like it might be existed, it might not be existed. If you are selecting C, it might be existed this record, it might not be existed. But maximum will choose one only because it has to exist at least one record in the header table. So we can specify that as one. And here, so this is from item table. Left side is from the header table, whatever we are choosing, like one too many or nothing too many, like that. So this is from the header table one. So that information I have given here. And in the item table, we can have multiple items for single sales document number, right? So this information I have to specify at the right side. So choose F for help again. And CN is nothing but each check table record has any number of dependent records. Or if you like one one field can have any number of records in the dependent table. If you want to be specified, we can choose this one. Or else you can see each check table record has maximum of one dependent record. Or each record in the check table has at least one dependent record or one to one. So in this we can specify mostly CN or N. Like it has to be whatever the sales orders are exist in the header table, at least it should have one dependent record in the item table. If you want to be specified in such a way, we can choose N. Or else, if you want to specify any number of records, mm, like one too many, then we can choose Cn. So we can choose N or Cn. Then click on copy. So once it is done, then see the status message has applied, means foreign key has created for the table. Activate it. Now we'll check whether the relation between the header and item table has been created or not. For that, I'll go to the table entries. I'll click on execute. I'll try to create a new one. Here, before that, I'll go to header table. What are the table entries are there? We'll see. So sales order number 1345 is there. So first I'm going to create um, existing sales order number I will be creating. Like 1345 is there. I'll create one sales order number with I'll create one item for the four sales order number because it is already exist in the header table. So here I'll give 4, then item number is 30, material suppose 12, and quantity suppose 25, and I'm saving. So it is saved successfully. You can see database record saved successfully created. Now I'll reset everything. So 4, which is already existed in the header table. Sales document number 4 already existed in the header table. Now 6 is not there here. 2 also not there. So I'm going to create 2, which is not exist in the header table, but I'm trying to create item. So here I'm giving the data 10, material is 15, and quantity is 100. And I'll save it. See, there is an error message. Entry 2 does not exist in header table. If you see, what is the title of the screen? ZSM2 SORDIT. So this is the name of item table. But if you see in the error message, it is giving the header table name ZSM2 SORDH. As I mentioned, this item table is completely depending on the header table, meaning whatever the key specified between the both tables, those field value is if it is exist in the header table, then that can be created in the item table. Like earlier, I have created one record with 4 sales order number because this 4 is exist in the header table. But when I have created sales order number 2 in the item table, it is not allowing me to create it. There is an error message because 2 sales order number is not exist in the header table because it is completely depending on the header table. If that record is existed, then it is able to create in the item table. Suppose if the entry is not exist in the header table, it won't allow us to create it because we have created a relation between header and item table to avoid this type of data inconsistency problem. So whatever the entries are existed for the field which we have given, those entries existed in the header table, then only we can able to create in the item table. Otherwise, we cannot able to create. So if you are getting this error message, meaning you have created primary and foreign key relationship successfully. So in this way, we can recognize. So for item table also, you can create TMG. Yesterday we have seen the steps to create TMG. Whenever you create a table, you have to create TMG as well. Any doubts in this?
No, Sneha.
Clear, everyone? So I think you will be confused, but with the terms only, like which is a primary table, or which is a foreign key table. Always remember which is going to depending on some other table that is nothing but foreign key table, or we can say it as a dependent table. Which is an independent table, that is nothing but check table. Even when we have given this entry, let me go back. I'll go back. Mm, Here in the, let me, oh, sorry. So this is the item table. And if I go to this tab, input help check, if I go here, see the check table name. So you can find out whether this table is having any check table, meaning this table is having relation with any other table. Those you can find in this particular tab, input help or check. See check table name. You can see the column name as check table. So check table is nothing but independent table. Based on this check table data only, we are able to put the entries in the foreign key table. So in that way also we can find out whether the table is having any relation with other tables in this column. And see the common field. So how we have created a relation between these two tables with the help of this field SORDN. So this is the common field between both tables so that it can be recognized. The field values based on the header table, it will be recognized and it will be allowed to us. If the value is existed, then it will be allow us to put the entry in the item table, or else it will be stop us. So in this way, we will create primary and foreign key relation. So we have seen header table, item table. There is also one more table called text table. Sorry, text table. Text TEXT. So text table. This for explaining text table. Let me show you a standard table, Mara. So in this table, mm, we can see here there are different fields are there like material number. And if we want to see what is a material description for this table entry, let me go to table entries. So there are different materials are there. But if I want to know what is the material description, um, one second. Sorry. Where we have, yeah, text table. So here in this table, it just displays all the materials. But here we couldn't find information like what is the description of the material, whether it is a raw material or semi-finished, or what is the material name. So that information we cannot see in this table, right? So that information we can able to see in a text table. So whenever tables are created in the header table, it stores only high level data. Even it doesn't store the detailed information. So if you want to see any text related information, that can be stored in a text table. But it is not mandatory to create all the tables in a text table. Suppose there is a Mara table, and if I want to see whether this table is having any text table to store the text information of these materials. So for that, we have to go to click on go to from the menu bar. Here we can find text table. Suppose if a text table is created for the table, then it will be displayed. See, table name has been changed, MEKT. And if you see, this table is having material number and material description. So in Mara table, there is a field called MATNR, which is stores a material number. And this is a text table which is having material number. So based on the material number from Mara table, so this will be stored the material information. Suppose, let me go back. So this is Mara table. See what is the first key field? Matner, which stores the material description. Oh, sorry, material number. I'll go to table entries. Mhm. I'll execute. I'll take any of the material number. So this double A one I'm selecting. So I'll copy this one. I'll go to text table now. So this is Mara table. From Mara table, I have selected one material number and I'll go to text table. So to go to text table, we have the steps. Click on go to from the menu bar and then choose text table. So now this is a text table which stores all the material descriptions. I'll go to table entries and here I will give the single material which I have copied from Mara table and I'll click on execute. See, same material which Mara table is having same material number when I have given in MEKT, it is giving the input like what is the material number, which language it is created, what is the description. So if you see the description, group material. So this material is nothing but group material. So this description we can find it. So it is written in English language. So SPRAS is nothing but it is a language key. How the material has written either in English language or Germany or Japan or French. So that information will be held in SPRAS field. It is a standard field which was provided by SAP. Suppose if you want to use in our table, we have to uh, declare or we have to define this field in our table because based on the language only we can able to display the field description. Oh, sorry, material description, or we can say any text information. In this Mara table, it is displaying material description. But there are some scenarios wherever we want to see the text information. So text information is nothing but mm it is a combination like it varies from language to language. Like if it is English, we can write like this. Suppose if it is user is in some other country, they want to see in their own language. So at that time, we need to specify the language also. So based on our logon language, it should be changed. Like suppose my logon language, when I double click on this properties, if you see logon language is English. By default, it is English. So whatever I will provide the description that will be displayed in English only. Suppose if user is accessing this system from Germany, then here there will be different language like D for Germany. So whenever user is entering with this logon language, then this has to be displayed in the Germany language, whatever the material description we have given or text information we have given. This has to be turned automatically into the user specified language. So that will be achieved with the help of text table. Suppose if I maintain text information in the header table itself, what will be happen? how I'm defining this text information, same thing will be visible to the end user. But end user has a language problem. They want to see their own language. At that time, we cannot able to do in this way. So that is the reason we will be having a text table, which is specifically designed for the text information. Based on the user logon, it will be turned the language. Suppose if user is login with English language, that text information will be displayed in the form of English. Suppose user is entered with the German language, whatever we have given the text information, automatically it will be turned into German language. So that is the idea of text table. Based on the user logon, the text information is going to be changed. So that is the reason whenever we are creating a text table, we have to specify language key. So without language key, we cannot create text table. It is a prerequisite to create a text table because that is the idea of text table. Based on the user logon language, if user want to see any text information, that we can achieve with the help of text table. So to create the text table, we need to follow a few steps like foreign key relationship, how we have followed the same steps we need to follow. Because based on the key field, see in MAKT, we have a key field, material number. And if I go back, Mara table, see, matter is a key field, same fields. Based on this field validation only, it is going to be stored in the text table. Suppose if I don't have same field in the two tables, then how it is going to be stored material description. For example, mm, there is a material number. That item description or material, let it be item description. So this material is having this item description. How the system will be identify? Because it should be create a relation between these two tables. So there are some item material information, and this material information related whatever the materials we have created. For those materials only, it should be display the description. How the system will be recognized? We have to give the common field between two tables so that whatever the materials we have created for those materials, it is going to be create the item description or text information. So it should be have data consistency. It should have the same entries in the both tables. So for that, we need to provide the common field between both tables. So for this sales order item table, I am going to create a text table to store whatever the materials are created. So those material descriptions I want to create it. So for that, I have to create a text table. Same steps we need to follow, like what is a item table. This is item table which I have created. And here what is a key field? Two key fields are there. Sales order number, item number. And let me open one more table. I have created one more table to store the text information. So this will be stored the text information. So here I have given the text table. So you should also create a table. And always remember, whenever you are creating a text table, that must be have a relation with the other table because just now I have mentioned both the tables should have at least common field. So if you see, this is the common field. So two common fields I have taken from the item table and then spras. So spras, this you need to define in your table because based on the user logon language only, it going to display the information. So that is the reason whenever we are creating text table, we need to specify language key. So whenever you are creating, you should also give the field name as spras, data element also spras. It is same. Standard one, this is the language key standard field which was given by SAP. Whenever we are creating text table, we have to define in our table. Always remember, it can be key field or non-key field, but it has to be defined in our text table. So this is the text table which is going to be stored the text information. And let me close this one, unnecessary one. IT. Okay. So this is the item table. Let me go to table entries. So for the sales order number, we have different items, like multiple items are there. For each item, it is having different materials. But what is this material number? This material description I want to see. Suppose one means we cannot understand. Suppose if it is having a description, like this is the material, raw material, or it can be like nuts or bolts, whatever the material description is there, that I want to see in a separate table. So for that, I have created the text table. So text table, before you are creating a relation between two tables, like foreign key relationship. Similar way here, we are going to create a text table for this item table. For this item table, I want to see in detail item description of all the materials. I have created one table, text table. So just I created a table. I did not make any relation between these two tables. So before we are creating a relationship, it must be having the common field and it must have task field in the text table. And text table, you should create similar way like header table, item table, how we have created. We went to SE11 transaction code. We have chosen the first radio button database table, specify a table name, then create the fields. Similar way we need to create. Once it is done, same process, which is the text table, which you are going to be create as a text table. Select the key fields and let me select. I think with two not possible. Hmm, Let me try to create with two. To select the key fields, and here we have a foreign keys. Same step we need to follow. I think only one. First, you need to go to change mode. Otherwise, it won't be allowed. Let me check with two. Okay, it is allowed. Now, here you need to give the check table name. So, check table name is nothing but for which table you are going to store the text information. So, that table name here you need to specify. Take F for help, or else you can directly enter the table name. So, mm, this table, item table. So, for item table, based on each item material number, I want to display the text information. So, that table name we have to give. Click on create proposal and later on, like these are similar steps to foreign key relationship only, but we need to select the last radio button. So whenever I have created foreign key relationship, I explained first three, but I haven't explained the fourth one. If you see key fields of text table, if you are going to create text table, then you have to choose the last radio button. Right now, I'm going to create text table. So I have to select this last radio button. Once it is selected, you can click on copy and then activate it. I don't want to see any warning messages, so I have ignored, I have selected as a no. Now, our text table has created. Suppose if any material is created, then that will be stored in this table. Right now, okay, so earlier I have created the table and table entries. So if you see for the each material number, it will be displayed the description. What is the material name? That material name will be displayed in the text table. So in real time also, text table will be created in this way only. But every table does not, it is not mandatory to create text table for every header table or item table. Based on the requirement only, we will be creating text table. Even if you see for Mara table, we have seen text table. Let's see for VBAK. So this is VBAK table. And if I want to find that whether the table is having text table or not, we need to go to from the menu bar, click on text table. See, table VBAK does not have a text table, meaning it is not mandatory for all the header or item table should have text table. It is optional based on the requirement. Few tables can have text table, few tables might not be having text table. But we need to know like what is the process to create a text table. Generally, we don't use text table, but at least we need to aware of the steps. To understand you clearly regarding the text table, let me give an example. So whatever the steps I'm going to create right now, so that step will be done by the functional consultant. Like I have shown you Mara table, which is storing all the material information, right? So transactional wise, it will be create using MM01 transaction code. So functional consultant will create all the materials in this way only. Like they will go to MM01 transaction code and they will give a material number. Suppose here I'm giving like 1001 So this is a material number which I'm going to create. And we need to select the industry sector. Like we do have different industry sectors. So this material is belongs to which industry sector, we can select it. And material types. We have various material types. Like here, if you see raw materials, food, or material general, there are different types are there. Based on the requirement, we can select the material type. Mm, Suppose if I have selected finished product, then I click on enter. So earlier, whenever we have created the table entries, manually we have written the material numbers. But in real time, we don't enter the table entries like this. So functional consultant will create all the entries like this. Manually, they will be having some transaction code. Then they are going to create all the materials or sales orders or deliveries in this way only. So this is completely done by the functional consultant. But whenever we are practicing, just we want to see all the entries. So that is the reason we are creating like this. But in real time, functional consultant, suppose if any materials information want to store in a table, that will be create like this only. They will go to MM01 transaction code and they will gather the information from the functional consultant. Like what is the material number, what is the material type, which industry sector materials they want to store in the system. That information they will gather from the business or end user. Then they will be create in the SAP system. So this is nothing but they are configuring the system. But whenever we are practicing, we don't have any functional consultant. So that is the reason we are entering manually all these details. But in real time, these all done by the functional consultant, like this information. And just I will select the basic data one. You can ignore all these things. But at one certain point, I'll explain. Here, description, like testing. So, unit of measure, either it is a grams or kgs, whatever, based on the material type, we can select it. So here, EA is nothing but each. And after this, I'll save it and I'll go to, oh, it is created. Let me go to MM02. Additional data. I'm going to additional data. And if you see, this material is created language EN because what is my login language? English only. My login language is English, right? Here it is English. And here what I have given the description testing. Suppose if I give different language here and I can choose different language. Mm, B. So I'll save this one. Just I have changed that. This material number will be stored. Whatever we are created material number, this material number will be stored in Mara table. But I have created this material using MM01 transaction code, and I changed the language using MM02 transaction code. So these materials are going to create by functional consultant. Once they created these materials, that will be stored in the table. So to store the table information, material information in the table, we have a specific table called Mara. If I go to table entries, whatever I have created the material number, I just put the material number. And if I click on execute, see, I have created in MM01 transaction code, but it is stored in Mara table. See, material number, creation date, today's date, even it is taking the time. Your name is nothing but username, my system username, this one, and whatever the entries I have given, like material type I have given, I think chemical. So that is storing like FERT and industry sector. Material type is finished one, and I have selected MBRSH is nothing but industry sector, like chemical, C for chemical. So what I did the step transactional wise, that is stored in the table. But in this table, whatever I have given the text information, that is not stored in the table. If you see, only mains. Mains is nothing but unit of measure. I have given each. So only this information is captured in Mara table. But if I want to see the material description, I need to go to MEKT table. Either you can go to text table or else we can give directly MEKT in the database table. And if I go to table entries, what I have created the material number, if I provide it here, the material description testing, and it is showing D, German language, D, but still it is showing in English language only, like TESTING. It is in an English language because my logon language is in English language. So that is the reason it was not changed. Suppose if I change here DA and let me log in. So I just log into this SAP with the German language. D is nothing but Germany language. I'll go to S11 transaction code and I'll go to MEKT table. This is display. If you see, the language has been changed here. If you see the spellings, words are changed. I'll go to table entries, material which I have given, which I have created using MM01 transaction code. I just entered and mm, it is, we do have a setting. Mm, There would be one setting to change the language. Before that, let me log in with again English because I couldn't understand those words. Oh, two logins are there. How it is happening to? It is accepting actually two language. It should not accept two languages at a time. So that is the reason it is not displaying, I believe. Mm, there would be one option. Let me see that option. Mm, click add and I- Let me check it again. If it accept, table entries. There would be one option. What is that? Okay, I'll find this one and I'll let you know tomorrow. It has to be changed the language. There would be one option. I couldn't recall it at the moment. I'll check it and let you know tomorrow. And so, do you have any doubts like how to create that table, text table, or foreign key relationship? Or
No, Sneha.
Vamshi, stop recording the session.